we talked about this.
Yes, we did. Hold on, let me go live. Okay, I think we just went live. All right, so
Okay.
we are.
Hi.
This is book club.
Wait,
got
And now
a lot
Lauren's
of
really
people
quiet.
on this book club.
how
Just
do I
right
turn
off
the
the
volume
bat,
up?
let me know if I'm glitchy because I'm going off of my phone. Okay.
Oh, you're really quiet, by the way.
Oh, am I?
What? Lauren's never
Yeah.
quiet.
Can you hear me
Lauren.
now?
Odd.
Am I better? No?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Mike's just deaf. He's
All right.
old.
So this book club is this book right here.
Yes.
No Bad Deed.
No bad deed.
That is this month's book club for Libations and
There we go.
Literature. First off the bat, we're going to introduce, we got a new member, and that is Durin. So Durin, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jaren. I've known Lauren for a decade and a half, a decade and some change. I live here in Los Angeles. I found book club and am so excited to share. Since COVID, we've all been sharing in unique ways. So you got Clubhouse, which is audio, you got Facebook, Instagram, whatever. But this is a wonderful space to kind of casually read and digest something and then come back and then share with people all the way on the other side of the United States, which is great. So I am glad to be here. This was juicy. I finished it in 2 sittings. So I'm excited to hear perspectives from others that have read it as well.
I love this book. I'm going to tell you right now. At first, I hated it. Lauren?
Did you know?
So-
Because I always
I'm
liked
gonna try
it.
this. Well, first of all, I'm drinking my little gin and tonic here.
There you go.
Well,
This book,
I'm
Wait.
having wine because... Oh, you got a G&T?
yeah, a
You
gin
got a
tea.
G&T?
But not in
What?
a can.
I'd rather have the B's and G's because, I'm not a
B's and
gin
G's.
fan. I'd rather have biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy.
But I'd rather have the B and G's before the yeah. And Becky, I respect your love for the. I do like the Hendrix a little bit. Have you tried that one? The Hendrix gin? No.
To me, I'm I just have white, but I have a TNT, but no, I haven't tried Hendrix. I was always just a Tanqueray girl.
And then I have Lucy here today.
Oh, cute.
Lucy, it's her quinceañera this year.
Oh, cute.
Oh, is it? Happy
Yeah,
Quinceañera.
early wedding
Oh,
party.
really? Wow. Good for
Lucy,
her.
is it your quinceañera? She's like, yes. She's so pretty. Okay, but Vanessa, what are you having?
Oh, I'm having the rosé bubbly from your winery.
The Brut Ombre Rosé?
Yeah, from the wine
Okay.
club. I got it in the mail 2 days ago.
Nice.
Cheers.
They ship it out?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the
Yeah,
wine club.
yes.
Every month I get a bottle.
Did not know this.
You can be part of the wine club, and then you can come and visit your auntie and get
I
your
know.
wine.
I need to come and visit you. I might come and visit you here soon.
Pack-
I'm off a week.
Pack your bags. You're going on a guilt trip, honey, because you have not come to visit your auntie in a long time. So
I haven't. I really haven't. You're so close, girl. I'm coming.
And I just got a hedgehog.
Mhm.
Seriously,
I see
I have a
that on
hedgehog.
Instagram. You got a hedgehog.
I got a hedgehog, Vanessa.
Oh, you got a hedgehog. What the heck?
Yes. Her name is Violetta. Her name is Violetta Alexis Moira Sullivan de Jesus.
Oh, Moira. I love Moira.
Moira.
And Alexis.
I love it.
I wonder where that came from.
So,
Good. Ew.
Don't forget.
yes. It's like, yeah.
Don't forget Moscato too.
Moscato El Gato. He was a kitten that one of the cats in the neighborhood had kittens under the deck of our tasting room. And the little orange tabby, I'm fostering it. He does not like me. He likes everybody else in the house and in the family but me. And
Oh, he loves me.
yeah, well, we have him. There
Okay.
he is. Yeah.
He can come join the brood.
All up in your face. All right, so this book,
Yes, Scott.
Lauren, let's get down to business.
This
I have a
book,
question
I'm gonna
on this.
agree with Sophia. At first, this is my opinion, my personal opinion. But at first, I was agreeing with Sophia. At first, it was a little bit slow in my opinion, and I was kind of wanting to get a little smack across the head to her.
Tell me because.
Yes. I don't know. There's just something about her and the way that she presented herself in some situations where I'm like, what again?
Seriously?
But then it started to. I got caught into it like it's a good old spider web, where I was like, the stuff was starting to unfold and make a little bit more sense, even though towards the end you're like, oh shoot. The only thing that I really liked this because it did catch me. The only thing that I didn't like was, or it kind of annoyed me a little bit, is how vague everybody was when she was trying to do like her sleuthing and like trying to figure things out. If nobody like could really just tell her the freaking truth, and it was just like, why is everybody being so vague?
She would not let them. We're gonna go. I have a theory, and we're going.
Okay.
Because I got issues because it was like she was so involved in herself and in her head that she wouldn't listen to the truth. And when the guy with Lester's daddy would tell her, "What do you know?" is when she started backpedaling in her brain. And we're gonna get back to that. That's another $20, like they say in Puerto Rico. But no, I was not amused. Where it's like, shut up and listen to what they are telling you.
You know what? That's a
I was
really
like,
good
why?
theory.
Yeah, and in the beginning, like she would find things out and not even tell the police about it. It's like, okay, if I was trying to kill you, took your husband's car. Do you think maybe there's something important that you should tell the police?
And they're like, no, that's just, that's a complication. That's
I have a question for anyone that has children. When she finds her daughter alone crying in the street, how would you have responded? I mean, I don't have kids, but I would have snapped, excuse my German, the fuck clean off. Had I found my child alone, like,
I'm like, you would have been bald.
I wonder where he is. I wonder where he is. I was like, no, I wonder where he is. Okay. No. I'll tell you an example. One time we were on a cruise and my husband went to take our son to the kids. And I'm coming down the stairs of the cruise and he's coming up and I was like, oh, did you drop Bo off at the kids club? And he's like, he ran down the stairs and I don't know where he is. So I wanted to tell him, I will throw you off of the balcony of this ship if you do not
your name on it.
I was like, you will die and I will go to jail. I don't care. I said, but you will die if I do not find him or something happens to him on this ship. So then, we go to the front desk and I said, I know where Bo is. I know him. He's a 6-year-old. He's at the pool. So, I went to the pool, a couple of feet down. He ran over there. He was at the pool. Yeah. Luckily, he knows how to swim. But I told Robert, I said, and he's like, would you really have thrown me off the ship? I said, yes.
Oh, yeah. Hell yes.
Yeah.
I would not even
you had one job, drop it off at the kids club.
And if you would have told the moms around you why you were throwing it off, they would have helped you.
Yes.
Hey, we got you.
I feel like she took it very lightly. Yes, she was like, "Oh, my husband left my daughter trick or treating. Wonder what happened."
I would have been screaming their names in the street. It's like I would have been like, "Oh, and I would have been murdering everybody if I could not.
It's like
if she was like my little girl just kind of crying. No.
And she was like, I didn't want to ask her any questions. No. There would have been a spotlight on that child, and I would have been like,
it would have been a Bible of questions.
Yes. We're gonna be.
You're like, you need to know that your dad is an idiot, first of all, and let me ask you these questions.
We're gonna go down the list of questions, including what your favorite colors are, and then we're gonna move down to behavioral therapy. But still, you cannot at first. I hated her. I hated her, but then. I'm like, well, why is she talking about how much of a badass she was when she was a teenager in her younger years? And I'm like, ooh.
And what happened?
I see this. And I'm just like, all right. So she's going to go all like, Alice and stuff. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to follow this. But at first, I was not happy. I'm like, I was cursing you. I'm like, really? I cannot. And the first book that I decided that I'm going to do Audible because I caved. I did audio book because with Wine Club, people need their wine right now. And I could not be able to read a book with this whole quarantine. And it was like, people need me. I am the superwoman of alcohol. So
you're like really like being a doctor like me, that's nothing. The wine person is essential, okay?
Dude, when we shut down, I'm running out to the curb. We showed up in yoga pants and running shoes to get multiple boxes of wine out the door. It was like if we were running a marathon at this point. It's like, us. We are super women. This is what's happening. But at that point, I said, I'm being audible. So I'm going to be the first person in Literature and Libation to say, I did the dirty and I listened to an audio.
But I like audiobooks, but the advantage of this one having a real book is that you can really get going fast.
I know. And I did find out
reading it
on Audible, you can kick up the speed on how they talk.
Oh,
you can.
Yeah. So wine bags, and
I use Audible.
I love my Audible. I'm doing
Audible for that one book that was horrible.
Oh yeah.
What was that book?
I don't know. It was
I remember the
Death in Her Hands.
Death in Her Hands.
Death in Her Hands. That's the one about the asylum.
The old lady with the
the old lady that found the note.
The old lady with the dog.
The dog that found the note.
I couldn't get through that one.
That she posted herself. It was terrible.
Yeah, that was
yeah. And then
you can put it on a faster faster paced speech.
Yeah.
Do you choose? Awesome. Is it called Puerto Rican mom mode? Is that the
exactly? I did like 1.0 to 2.5, and I'm like, I got this.
That's what I mean.
Hold on, guys. We got to charge it real quick.
And I was just like, fine. And the girls are like, today at work, they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to get these final orders done, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, you have headphones on. I'm listening to audiobook. How many minutes do you have? 35. 16 if I'm listening in Spanish mode. So, but they've all been very interested in this. But with this book, I would have to say I was very interested because they did mention the aphid that ate the wine vines in California. And I knew about that. The Asphoria. And I'm like, what? This is something I know about other than murder. So I was very happy about that.
Neat.
My question is, what do you think is the bad deed? It's called No Bad Deed.
Well, I think it was deed. I think it was Red. Red kidnapping a child to help her. But
that's the bad deed. Okay, I can see that.
No bad deed, but it was also like I knew there was something up with that Brooklyn chick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, you're sketchy.
She
suddenly decides to call her father after all these years.
Yes, and then I felt bad that what's his name, the dude that was the her father, basically.
Yeah.
How he got blamed at first, and I'm like, well, yeah, if that was like somebody tried to run me off the road, I'm pretty sure I would have thrown her in the ravine too. But
right. Yeah, but when she called her father and she hadn't talked to him for like all these years, and then she was like, "Oh, I need to call my father." I'm like, well, "What's up with that?" You know, there's father's involved here somehow. But he's like, "I'll be on the next plane." I'm like, "Now, why would you be getting on the plane?"
Yeah, and then she called him in the car when she had that envelope that she couldn't open, and I just wanted to go inside the book and say, "Open it already!"
Open the damn envelope.
I know. I was like, "What are you waiting for?"
And she carried it around, and I was like, "If I have an envelope, I'm gonna open it right away. I can't."
I would have been stalking everything on Facebook, Instagram, Reddit. I would have been all over that. Like, who is this person?
That's what made it good on the book, though. That's what made it good because you just kept turning the pages and reading it, waiting to see her open it. That was a good plot thing.
Yeah, because you looked at this envelope, and just holding on to. Oh, let me call my dad. Oh, let me go to the school.
Right. But you cannot listen to what they're saying because I'm so involved into what I'm in my head for. And I was like, honey, sister, no. Let's look outside of the box. Your husband is missing, but you got 2 kids. So let's see what you can do about that. And I did like the fact that she went back into her roots and her behavior, because sometimes you got to be a little bit of a scrapper in life. And I'm like, okay, she keeps talking about being a scrapper and fighting her way through her teenage years and the bullying and whatever she went through. And I knew that was going to come up again. But I was interested with the Red. It's like, why didn't Red want to do the blood work? And then when it started coming up with that story,
right?
Spoiler alert.
It all fell together.
It all did. And then I said, oh, wait, I get it now. But then I'm like, well, why did Brooklyn decide to do all this crazy? And I'm like, well, sometimes you got to get a little crazy in the book. So.
Okay, wait. Now that, since I didn't finish, who was Red?
Red was her dad, the vet's dad.
Okay, because I left off when he was on his way to come over.
Girl, you got to read this book.
Yes,
it was like, okay.
People would stop talking.
I
I
have
read
to
the
say,
book.
the last
By the way,
chapter
Lauren, I love your
really sums
glasses.
it up and brings it together. Oh, thank you.
I do like that.
I love when the book actually comes together.
Yes, like the A-Team, but with some drama.
Yeah. But it didn't at the very end, it was like just getting to unbelievable, right? Like when she suddenly puts together, oh, wait, there was a noise I was hearing a while ago.
Yeah. Oh, that might have been my husband.
Probable that she should get to the right spot and get in, but
exactly. I've never been more grossed
only
out.
a little bit. I was willing to buy into it.
But when she was talking about she got buried alive, Vanessa.
Oh, okay.
And remember the Jerusalem cricket?
Uh-huh.
They started crawling all over her body and biting her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that grossed me the hell out. I was
yucky.
It was just like, was she talking about like closing her eyes because they were crawling up her pant leg and biting her neck? And I'm just like, no.
You can feel it falling on you.
Did the old man across the street have anything to do with all this, or he was just?
Oh yes, but it's like you need
suspicious about him.
Yes. He was sketch from the beginning, but he was definitely involved, and you need to follow do the Audible, people.
You can spoil it. I'm gonna read it anyways. Okay, what did the old guy do?
Okay, Brooklyn was. Do you remember the chick that supposedly had the affair with her husband?
Yeah, Brooklyn, the tequila girl. Yeah,
right.
Okay, tequila girl.
The tequila girl.
Spoiler alert. He was pretending kind of to have an affair, this and that, but she was the daughter of Dee. Did you get to the point where they talked about Dee, the crazy lady that was the mom and how she
I didn't get to that part.
The kidnapping part. What, Vanessa?
No, I got off when she was talking to Brooklyn and she was having tequila. Her dad was on the way. He was going to fly there. And then they went to a basketball game for her son or something like that. That's kind of like
Brooklyn was the granddaughter of a lady who had a daughter that gave birth to Brooklyn. But she also kidnapped a girl, little girl, a baby. The little girl was the main character.
Oh,
I read her dad that she knew, and then spoiler alert to the maximum. She got even because she had the choice of being saved, but she had to stay with psychotic.
That's Moscato, by the way.
Oh, so she
Moscato El Gato.
I carry
Drake. Let me see your face, Drake. Oh, you're so handsome.
I love.
Look at you. I love your hair.
I'm trying to get him to a haircut, but he doesn't want one. I did have to cut.
My grandson has the same hair, only blonde. He says he wants to have his hair like Rapunzel.
Oh, how
as
cute.
long as Rapunzel. He doesn't want to be Rapunzel. He just wants his hair. And I said, that nobody actually has their hair as long as Rapunzel. He goes, I know. I'm going to be the first.
You know what? Let him live.
Gotta have goals, right?
Gotta have some goals, yeah.
Uh-oh. My manager is calling, but she's gonna have to wait because it's book.
It's book club.
Right. So the woman had kidnapped our hero. The woman had kidnapped her.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Red realized that his only chance to like help save this girl, because the mother was really abusive, was to take her. So he took her, and she couldn't do anything because she stole her in the first place. So he gets away with it and raises her as this.
Yeah.
But there are
that's why he didn't want to take the test for the transplant.
Look at my phone.
Oh, that's why he didn't want to do the test.
Yeah.
Because he's not a blood relative at all.
And then who is this man? Who's this man Carver, the one that's writing 1, 2, 3 on things?
Oh, Carver.
Or the one that
find out that he's not really, he's not
Carver.
Brooklyn is.
He's just a nut.
Let me catch that on my phone.
I used to date Brooklyn.
Yeah, but she figured out. Oh yeah.
Well,
but she knew he was a nut, so she was going to use him for all his nuttiness.
Bring my person.
But yeah.
Oh, because he was the one that was trying to kill Brooklyn off the side of the road.
Brooklyn's dad, isn't it? Carver's Brooklyn's dad.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So
no,
I
he was Brooklyn's dad.
Psychotic break.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you get to the part where Brooklyn's mom kidnapped a baby in the grocery store?
Mm-hmm.
That was our main character.
And did Carver poison the dog?
No.
Who did that?
Carver didn't do any of that.
Didn't do any of it.
Origami
chocolate wrapper.
Brooklyn.
Carver didn't actually do anything.
Get Brooklyn.
The one that said she had an affair with the husband, but she did not.
Yeah, she's abusive.
Or did she not? That's where we're not clear on that point.
Yeah, they didn't really clear that up.
I would have wanted to
know. Actually,
I thought he was just sympathetic to her, and he was helping her.
But that was his work.
Because they paid the students to say that he was.
Bring my purse.
Oh,
no, the students to say that he was inappropriate and.
Oh, with the girl Heather.
Yeah,
the way that the story was
I think the husband was innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Were told in such a way.
There was.
No, bring my purse here. This is what.
The high schooler, the girl, like I could easily imagine that character, the way that she was told and her demeanor, that just like, if you're paying me, I'll say whatever you want, but I'm still going to be a bitch. Like easily her.
Right.
Also Brooklyn, the way the story about Brooklyn was told, I'm like, oh, I know this girl. I know how she reads at first glance. And then they're describing her with her drink and she's clearly drunk or buzzing. And her face is all black and blue. And in that moment, I'm like, victim or victor? Like, is she taking like I'm trying to weigh everything? I'm like, do I like her? Or do I hate her? She was another character that was easy for me to like, with the details, grow to hate her. The way that they described her,
right?
And her ways and her mannerisms. I was like, oh, I know this girl. I hated this bitch. I know her. I don't like.
It was messy. It was messy. It was like, oh, you're a lesbian. We went to your house.
I do have a question for everybody, though.
What?
I have a question. For me, I read the book and I really liked the book. I like how the author painted the scenes of everything, especially the last chapter of it. Vanessa, you got to read that because it was very, very cool how it all came together. But
yeah, I think I'm gonna finish it tomorrow because
I kind of sat there. I was like, for me, it was wondering. Okay, so Brooklyn was tortured by this woman, right? She tortured for whole being. It was horrible upbringing. I was like, is that enough to drive somebody to go on a murderous rampage, kill innocent people, and then
that's all nurture.
Just to get revenge?
Now you're going nurture versus nature right now, and you know that's tricky, and we're not going to go into that. But
the whole place
she already had the issues, and then she got triggered with her mom, if she was, but that brings out the whole nurture versus nature thing. Are people's behavior or medical issues brought out because of a chemical reaction or because of their environment? But that brought out a good example, because I'm like, okay, we didn't get a lot of issues or description of what happened with her and her mom. I mean, there were some little tidbit nuggets, but there wasn't a full case study on that one. So, but with my reaction was, she was tortured as a kid. Something has to trigger. It's like, I'm going to kill 8 people. You know, there has to be something there, and there has to be something that is going to trigger that person. But at first, I was thinking, oh, I'm so heartbroken. Like, get her. You know, this is my look, like, get her. You know, and the bonus part was, I knew what a creamery was.
The what?
Oh.
The creamery. They're like, oh, creamery. I'm like, I know what it is.
Yeah.
So why was the guy trying to kill her when the girl found them?
Which guy?
The one that's named Carver. I guess he was trying to kill Brooklyn.
Part of it. That's the scary part of it.
Oh, he was trying to kill her at the beginning, but
in the beginning, the man that was off the cliff, that was trying to throw the woman off the cliff, that was him.
And you find out in the end, he tried to kill him, and he was attacking her back.
Oh, so he was her adopted dad, you said?
You know, like they say in Puerto Rico, ese otro 20 pesos. That's another $20, because that was
that's a whole other story, a whole other chapter.
Exactly. That was a whole other $20.
Brooklyn murdered his wife.
Yes.
Didn't he kill his wife? And Brooklyn made it look like he was having an affair with her, and that his wife's literally dying breath was like, oh, he wanted you dead, by the way. So he was trying to get revenge because he was, actually that's Brooklyn's biological father, Carver.
Yeah. And it's
but she was so upset from her childhood. She was so upset at these people.
It was messed up.
Yeah,
but it was
that she just kind of went out on this vendetta.
Yeah. She snapped. She was an ID channel special.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So there's a lot of twists at the end, huh?
In the end, it was like last 3/4 of the book. You're like, what? But
and she tracks this one down, and then this is connected to this one, and then she goes all the way up. She goes up to what, San Francisco or something, and
the next goes connected to
somebody else.
Yeah. The guy in the row house with her son's medication.
Right.
And the waffles, really gross. Those waffles did sound kind of gross. I'm just gonna say that right now. I was not.
Oh my god, that was. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I told you I just started keto today. Why are you talking about waffles?
Yeah, it was like
talking about waffles is making me hungry.
And I'm like,
Lauren.
No.
You said you were annoyed in the beginning by her. So there's our moments where the main character is almost played as insecure, or she's doubting herself. She's in her head a lot. She's remembering when she was a powerful woman and she just went with it, and then now she's not that person. What was it that annoyed you? Was it that? Was it? You know what I mean?
I think it was like she kept on bouncing back from her past and then her present, and you could tell that her husband was like trying to rekindle something, because their relationship wasn't the best when you first read into the book. But she was like always annoyed with him, and I guess I was just like, okay, well, what's annoying? Like, elaborate. I do like Sophia's theory though. Like, you're in her perspective, and her perspective is herself. you know? The more that you see the picture, the more it's like everything was in front of her, but maybe she just didn't want to see it because obviously she was in denial. And you kind of get the hint of that throughout the book. She's like not accepting it, and then she finally
she didn't want to accept herself in the past as a weakness. And that's what it was, because her aggressive behavior, she saw it as a weakness in the past. But in the end, it was her survival. And the fight scene.
Yeah, and her children, and it was just very like raw, like boom. And then like her like fucking what is it called? Kill Bill. She Kill Billed her way out of that freaking coffin.
J-Lo and eating up her way out of that.
Artery. She's punching her in the kidneys. She's stabbing her back. I mean, I was just like, go, 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 go. I'm so excited. And you're finding your strength. But the thing is, like, when you are trying to keep your son alive as a mom, I was like, yeah, I do it. I definitely will bite somebody in the neck. I would kick myself through what she's buried in a what was it that it wasn't a coffin. It was made out of what?
It was made out of like out of old wood from the barn.
Old wood, rotted wood, and I'm just like, I would have kicked my way through that to save my son. And no problem with that.
The great thing about this book is that even though she managed to get out of it, she didn't write or say that she all of a sudden had this superhuman strength and can burst into she had to work her way out of it.
Exactly.
And it was being
shot in the shoulder.
One of the most unbelievable superhuman things.
Yeah. She crawled her way out. She was trying to find weapons. She got shot in the shoulder. Her gun was out of bullets that she took away from the girl. She sent her son running into a field alone while she's trying to kill this person because she knew she had to kill her. And it was like the realistic view of how people would deal with this as a person, as a human.
Right.
And when I agreed, I'm like, get it, go, 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 just bite her in the neck, get in there, like I was cheering her on, and I was so happy about this, and it was a book where it dragged, and then halfway through, you're like, oh, really?
And I never thought it dragged. I thought it went at a pretty good pace from the very beginning.
It was just.
It caught my interest like from the beginning because as soon as the first thing happened, you're like, oh, I wonder what that's all about. And then when the husband disappears, and you're like, okay, wait, hold on a second.
Wait, what?
Calm about it. Why is she so calm that her husband disappeared?
Now, see, if it was me, I would have been burning his stuff all over the lawn. I mean, I'd just be like, look, to you, your stuff's in a barbecue.
Let's just empty this closet and put it on the front lawn and start a bonfire right now.
We're going to burn all your stuff right now.
To be honest, I'm surprised she didn't leave him buried out there in that field. That she went back and dug him out.
Yeah, but by then she realized that it was all a big put-up thing, and she didn't want to lose him.
She was a strong woman in the end, which I was very happy to hear, because in the first part, I'm just like, stop getting in your head and listen to what these people are telling you. And then when finally Lester's dad, which I can't remember his name, the stoner dude, said that, what do you know, instead of what you heard.
Right.
And that's where she started getting into like, okay, this is what I know is true, but this is what I heard from other people. And it's kind of a little life lesson right there. Like, it's what you know and what you hear.
I felt like everything around her in the world was telling her, hey, your husband left you. Like, you know what? Sorry, but you need to accept it. But she was like, no. And I was kind of, I was annoyed by it. I was like, girl, he left you. Just like, let it go.
The girl.
And then she's stuck with her gut.
He was having lattes with a hot day.
You know, she's like, no.
Okay. So who was it that was texting? Who was texting her pretending to be her husband?
Oh, yeah.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Because she had her husband. She had him kidnapped.
Yes.
On the side of the road. That was her. okay, so like the lead character, she was kidnapped in a supermarket from her mother, and by a crazy lady that lived in an old vineyard, and she had a daughter who gave birth to another child who ended up being Brooklyn, the one that said she was having an affair with the lead character's husband.
So why was the lead character's husband calling Brooklyn? Because her number was on his phone.
Well, they were trying to help. She set up this whole thing where she found a child that was in need. That was his weakness. His Achilles heel was to help
his student Hannah, the girl named Hannah. Okay.
Yes, and then her
Uh-huh.
Brooklyn's boyfriend talked her into saying, "Oh, play the victim, blah blah blah." But you need to read into this because this book kind of went from to what? So I was okay with it.
Awesome. Good.
And I'm like sitting here in work with my headphones on, and people are like, "What are you doing?" Don't talk to me. I'm listening to my book. And it did get to the point where, like, at first, like I told you, Lauren, I was like, I'm not happy with this book. And then I'm like, wait, I was not happy with this, but I'm happy with it. So it was a very, I like those kind
like
of books.
maybe, let me just keep going.
Maybe.
It was picking up. Yeah.
I liked it.
The
I
author,
liked
Heather
it.
Chavez, she
Yes.
did a really good
So
job.
Mike, you did a good job.
Lingering you in every chapter. Like she did a good job, like keeping you and opening up a little at a time. So I do give that to her because she gave you a little breadcrumb and a little breadcrumb until it all led to that major end point. So kudos to Heather Chavez for doing that.
And it's her first book.
At first, I'm always very cautious when I start to read a book. I'm like, all right, what you got? What you got? And this book started like that. I was like, I'm not kind of feeling it, but I'll keep going. And then it just kept on lingering me in, and it got me like mid-book.
And the fact that this book, I started listening to it while listening to Four Winds. I don't know if you heard about Four Winds. It's a book about like the Depression and the Dust Bowl and everything. It's like the best book. And I dropped it after the 6th chapter to listen to this book when it got good. So we got the book of the year, and I dropped it to listen to this book. So we're pretty good. But
there you go. So Becky, what's your take on this? I'm going to kind of try to go around and get everybody's quick take on this book.
Okay, so I thought it was really as a big up too. My friend Marilyn, who it doesn't like anything, but she likes certain things. But anyway, I said to her, "So this is a good book. This is not great literature. So if you're looking for your great literature, this is not it. But it's a page turner, and I think you'll really like it." So she says, "Well, I read your book," and I said, "Well, and she goes, 'Well, you're right. It's not great literature.'" I'm like, "I know." She goes, "But I actually liked it." So there's. I said, "Well, I just really liked it. I thought the all came together."
Yeah, I feel the same.
It wasn't Girl on a Train. I will tell you.
Oh my God, I love that book.
I love it until the end, and then it got
that book. I wanted to punch people in that book.
I did too.
Oh, see, Becky.
Yeah, I got tired of her in a hurry. I was
just
like,
wanted
I get
G&Ts. You wanted
too many G&Ts for that girl. But I love the premise of it. It just got.
What did you think about the book?
Too long.
I really enjoyed it, and like Sophia said, I did not like her at first, and
I just wanted to ragdoll her.
Yeah, she was too accepting of everything, and she gave him way too much leeway that just didn't feel right. But in the end, I like how it turned around, and she finally showed that she was a badass at some point in her life.
Yeah, but nothing's gonna beat the light we cannot see.
Oh, true.
Remember that with the
yes.
Oh,
again, disappointing end though. Very disappointing ending.
But it was
Oh, I'll have to read that one.
Oh, she petted the snails though. She did. Marie and the snails. Vanessa, what do you think of the book? Well, halfway through
so
book.
As far as I got, in the beginning,
read
it. Slow of a start, but I did find myself reading it on my lunch break because I was like, "Ooh, I wonder what happens." And especially that part where she's carrying this envelope, she doesn't open it. I'm like, "Open it already!"
I don't remember what was in the envelope.
So interesting. So I'm interested in finishing it off tomorrow. We're driving down to Boca, and Robert's going to drive, so I'll read it while he's driving, and I'll finish it off because I'm really interested in seeing how it ends.
You gotta, because at the end you're gonna be like, yes, you're like cheering away, and it's awesome. But it was kind of like the you had the female protagonist, the strong-armed woman, and that at the end she like gets above everything and finds where she's from, and I did appreciate that part of the book. But at the first part of it, I was not happy.
I think it all turned around for her at that row house in San Francisco.
It turned around. It did.
Yeah, you had to go from the no happy to the happy part, and I understand that. It was like the Casa de Bernarda type thing, and you have to get to the point where you're like, oh, this is annoying, to oh, this is great. So I was happy.
Good.
And then Duran, what did you think about the book?
Yes. So I wrote, I was just kind of taking notes because talking about you guys, I finished it more than a week ago, so I'm remembering some things. I wrote, where it starts and where it ends are two very different places. So the way that the story is shared reminds me of like asking a close friend to tell me about a movie they saw. It's a little bit scattered, like, oh yeah, and then this lady, she's buried. Hold on, wait. So she was actually kidnapped, and you're like, wait, what? I thought she was in the ground. Well, yeah, kind of, but it's like where she grew up. Wait, what? So it reminds me of what it's like when someone is telling you about a movie they just saw, but they just saw. So the details are pretty good, but the way that it's being presented to you felt a little all over the place. But there's
you know what? I agree.
Yeah, but it's fiction.
Like that kind of behavior, and it was
right.
I understand what you're saying. Because it was like, we're going to go this way, but we're going to go that way. And we're going to take a little venture to the underground. So I can see what you're saying because it was infuriating at some point.
One thing I wrote, when she was texting her husband's cell phone, how calm she was to be getting responses. There is a very separate fury that burned beneath the surface of my skin when I was so underwhelmed by her response. Oh, I see a ... and I'm waiting for him to respond. Girl, you walk into the police station and you tell them to ping this device because shit's not going down. Like,
you see this? This is a liar.
This is not him. He's been kidnapped.
I would have lost it. I would have thrown my phone and broke it. I'd be like, nah.
Yeah. And then, like, she's like, well, the detective might think it's me. It's like, honey, you're a veterinarian. You can go and tell the detective whatever he wants to hear, and he's going to believe you because it's like, this is not my husband. He would not say this. And I think it's somebody who took his phone and they stole our car and they stole his car and blah, blah, blah. And just said there's a video from the crazy lady with the, Agnes eyeglasses saying, oh, but you don't live there. And it's like, what? How could you not understand? The woman doesn't live there. And she's been interviewed by two people, but she doesn't live in the house. And I got to the point where I'm like, okay, you're going a little too deep, but you're not clarifying the storyline. So it was good. It was good. I did appreciate it. I did love it. But if I'm going to nitpick, I'm going to nitpick on the fact that whoever the cop was with his bacon ties and his rubber ducky ties and whatever he had going on, he was a child left behind.
Yeah.
No. He was the child left behind. The storyline did not.
Yeah, he had no sense of urgency.
Yeah, it was like, whoa?
Yeah.
Whoa? No.
Yeah, you know what? That was really a good observation. I'm glad other people felt that way. Is where she painted the pictures really clear and great, and I could imagine them. And then some of it was so fast and so scattered. I'm like, what the hell is she trying to like put and construct here? And it got me confused.
Yeah.
So like how Joryn was saying, it felt like just like a friend trying to rush through a movie real quick. Some parts she was just rushing through. And I don't understand because she, like how Sophia was saying, there's detailed in small things that shouldn't really be there, or it wasn't necessary, but then there wasn't details in areas that should have been there. And yeah, I agree.
That's where the ADHD comes in.
Yeah. Was there any point in how they talked about this puking pumpkin a couple of times? Was that even important?
The puking pumpkin identified the home, which the home was identified by the nosy neighbor, which was not the noisy neighbor, because when they went to her house, she didn't live there, and she was hired.
All part of the setup.
Yeah, it was like
it was a
like,
grand.
I wind up. It was Siegfried and
of
Roy.
this Brooklyn.
You know, it was
like she was just
smoke and mirrors.
Smokes the mirrors.
Smokes the mirrors. You know,
Lauren, did you pick this book?
No, I didn't.
Miguel,
I did not. It was my.
Where did you hear about it since it was her first book?
I cheated. I went on Google and Googled like best book club reads or something to that effect, and this was on a list.
Okay, so someone recommended it. Yeah, because I was saying like, oh, it's her first book. I wonder how they read about it, because I don't think it's like on a bestseller list or anything like that.
This was the first book that I didn't look at the book club notes in questions. I'm like, I'm just going on in this. I'm just gonna go on.
Right.
And I was telling people at work about this as I'm listening to it on the audiobook, and they're like, that sounds like a messed up book. Why are you listening to that? I'm like, oh, book club?
Why are you listening to that?
And I really did appreciate it, because I love when a book makes me mad. I do.
Yeah.
I do love a book that makes me angry, or makes me think, or makes me question what the first half part is about. So at first I was like, oh, this is a Karen and she just needs to go. And then the second part, I'm just like,
yes,
I'm seeing where she's getting there. All right, I got it. You were remembering how you used to punch people in the face, and now you got to save your babies. And I got that part. I understand. But it got to the point in the middle, there was that 1/8 of the part where I'm just like, I'm done with you. And I told you, Lauren, I'm like, I just want to punch her in the face. I cannot listen to this anymore. But it was good. I did appreciate it at the end. It all rounded up.
Yeah. How did you guys picture her?
I did not.
Like, because you just said she was a Karen. Like, did you picture her with one of that little spiky blonde haircut, short?
No,
I pictured her like with a little blonde bob and just kind of like a little plain.
No, she had the long, like, not texturized hair, and asking if this was gluten free. That's
Whoever is doing the voice for her in the audiobook you were listening to is not what I pictured at all.
It was exactly who I pictured her as. The one in the audiobook, she was very weak at first, but in the end, she's like, I will mess you up. And I'm just like, oh. And I really enjoyed it.
See, I pictured her as someone younger and gullible, but that's not what the voice in the audiobook comes across as at all.
You know what? You just
what do you think she looks like, Jerron?
How do you picture her? The way that the story is told, there are some characters that I can Brooklyn gives me the energy of one of the girls from Mean Girls, but the essence, instantly I'm like, I know that girl. I would
a mean girl that aged
because she got her way, but I didn't actually like her. But I was 18 and I was in high school, so it's fine. But here I am at 35 looking back like this snake.
But she was like, you got those triggers.
Yeah.
Did you get the trigger? Yeah, when she's talking to her and then she was like, oh, she reacted this way. She reacted that way. And I'm like, girl, this is your tell. She is lying. Why are you listening to her?
Yeah. Did you guys feel any empathy at all for Red around the hotel scene? The way that she was talking to him? She had a couple of like mouth vomit moments, she being the main character.
Yeah.
How did you guys respond to that?
I felt bad for Red.
Yeah.
I did because he's like trying to tell her, I couldn't help your daughter out with her liver testing. And then I'm like, okay, something's going on there. What's going on? And then she's like going on and it's like, well, you failed your granddaughter and you were a horrible grandfather, blah, blah. But then you figure out that he kidnapped her to save her and she didn't want him to know or her to know that was not his daughter.
Yeah, there was no genetics there.
I do have a picture of a Karen from the back, so I'll show you the image, and on top of it says, I bet my entire life saving this woman is standing in lines because she wants to talk to the manager.
Oh my God.
And this is...
Oh my gosh.
Yes. I'm not going there. We all don't want to go there.
Right.
That's with her, Cassie. There's Cassie.
Right.
I do have a question for everybody, which we're talking about sympathies for characters. What about that friend that was the IT girl that got murdered? She was trying to save Cassie. She figured out everything. I was like, what?
What? No.
She was awesome. And she just got...
She was amazing.
Zoe?
She gets killed.
Yes.
Zoe. Oh, she was Zoe. Yeah.
Zoe.
She gets killed for things.
Yes. I heard inside, all in the field. I was so upset.
She was the one that was with her in the beginning. Yeah, when everything was going on, helping her.
Right.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking, where did this girl that grew up in defunct
they dropped like lives in this book?
No, this is... Can we get to the main question I have for this whole freaking book is, how did a girl that grew up in a defunct vineyard with a crackhead mom that was not on any medication get all these technical gifts to spy and bug and do this and put things in people's phones? And I'm like, girl, you did not go to MIT. You grew up in a vineyard with a creamery.
No.
Seriously. What?
She was like she was like the James Bond of Mike Myers. How the fuck did she get all this stuff in the car? How did she?
She was the smartest girl working at Dairy Queen. No, she.
Oh my God!
Say that. Oh, that was awful.
Yeah, where is your willing suspension of disbelief?
I was dealing with the genius working at the Dairy Queen and the creamery with the crickets. And it was like, that kind of disconnected me a little bit, but it was like, how does she connect this and do this surveillance? I understand she pretended she was had the affair and blah, 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 and this and that, and she's putting things in the house, but I don't know. I don't get it.
She worked at a creamery at an ice cream store?
No, because the house had this girl, you gotta watch it.
The family business.
They had it's called the creameries where they store like dairy products and bottling and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And it was in the vineyard. So the house that this girl, Brooklyn, grew up in, it was an old Napa Valley vineyard that her mom raised her and tortured her.
You're crazy, mom.
And the main character was kidnapped from that home from Red, her dad. I'm doing a lot of quotations. And it was her dad that saved her. And you got to listen to the rest of this, Vanessa. Come on.
She was.
Now that you said something about working at Dairy Cream, I have to do a hiatus to tell Lauren something. So I was seeing patients, minding my own business, and I had a new patient that came to see me that's pregnant. And she told me, it's like, oh, when they come from somewhere new, I was like, where did you move from? Because, everybody's moving to Florida. And she's like, oh, I moved from Ottawa, Illinois. And I was like, what? Other people live there? My sister lives there. I was like, and she's like, oh, well, what's your sister's name? And I was like, well, you know, she has 2 kids and they were in high school age. And she's like, oh, well, what's her kid's name? Because they're probably like around my age. I probably know them. So I was like, well, Jen and Patrick. And he's like, oh, my brother used to date Jenica. And they worked at the ice cream store together.
Yeah,
they worked at some ice cream.
That was really a long term.
So I was like, what are the odds? You know, like I'm in Cocoa Beach, Florida, and this lady's from Ottawa, and her brother dated my niece.
Wow,
crazy.
That's crazy.
Hi, Liz.
But Jenica just got engaged, right?
Yeah, she's getting engaged, and I'm super excited. I'm planning on doing a Illinois engagement party at the tasting room. And my theme is going to be the big fat gay lesbian wedding, like the big fat gay wedding. And she's like, Mom, no. And I was just like, Mom, no. That's just Napa and rainbows. And it's gonna be great. And like, we just want sandwiches. So, but I'm really excited because I have 2 grand doggies now.
Oh,
I have Lulu Bell and Roxy, of course, but then I have Winnie the Pooh, which is Winston the Pooh, and the sassy little dogs. I'm very excited. And then, of course, so what's the next book, guys?
I need to go wake Ann up and get some dinner.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll wrap it up here. The next book I will have, I have a really good book. I was gonna do a poll, but I'm gonna make us read it. It's going to be The Bone Shard Daughter.
Bone Shard Daughter.
It's people are talking about it, so I will post it. But
thank you, everybody.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Everybody. It was so much fun.
Yay.
I'm gonna have shrimp.
I will post everything. Yeah, and then everything went live, so you can rewatch this if you want to. But yes, thank you, everybody, and
thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good night.
I'm excited for you to be part of the crazies.
Yes, thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Welcome.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Oh, my phone froze.